Hello. So my name is Amy Kernicki, and this is
Matthew Ryan.
cool. And we are just chatting about what we were going to do for um, this Love Yourself Well series that I'm doing in February. So this Thursday, I love this subject. I came up with detoxing your ex. And we're going to be talking a lot more than just like an ex partner, but like there's a lot of people that, as we're waking up and coming to our true self, like we feel like sometimes we have to disengage from people in our lives, and there's a lot of different ways we have to disengage with people physically, mentally, emotionally, energetically. So, Matthew, my dear love and partner, is going to be coming on and talking with Michelle and I this week about what he does and what he sees when he helps people. Oh, yeah, let's get the mic over here. When he helps people disengage when someone is going through that in their life and needing to break free of cords and attachments and stuff. And so, as we were discussing what we were going to present this week, I was like, how do I even describe what you do, Matthew? How do I like do you have a title? And like so I want to just come on and kind of share a little bit and have Matthew describe and ask him some questions about what he does, because I have seen what he does for me and we can go into that a little bit. But Matthew, what do you do?
No,
What
that's
do
the
you see?
that's the million-dollar question.
Hmm.
um, what do I do? I would say that I have an ability to be able to support people in identifying energies that perhaps no longer serve them, or maybe energies that they've been carrying along with them, what I would call like infiltrations or distortions. And to be able to identify these energies and then be able to clear those energies out of your field. And with that as well, then often come these activations, what I call activations, like an energetic activation, where a certain type of energy will be awakened within your field or within your DNA. Energy perhaps that even comes in like a download that would come in, or like, we sometimes use kind of technology to describe these things like a software update, that so that we can basically clear those energies out of our field and return to the most authentic expression of our being. And as it relates then to this topic, when we end relationships, there often are energies that may still be kind of holding in the field, or maybe there are connections, what I call connective cords that could be in place with someone that we're not really fully conscious about, and lots of different things, soul contracts, things like that. And so there are ways that I've learned over time to be able to identify and clear, resolve those energies, and then help you to be the most authentic expression of your being, so that as you step forward in your life, or as you step forward into your next connection with someone, that those energies are integrated and healed, and clear as well if they need to be cleared, so that we're not carrying that kind of baggage forward. So that would be, I guess, applicable for what we're going to be talking about, or what I
Yeah,
facilitate.
totally. Um, could you maybe give an example of like what you've seen? Like we can even talk about, I mean, before we were together, I went to Matthew after a horrible, gross breakup because I could just feel these like cords and tentacles, and I feel like sometimes I even can feel that with like even when if you walk into a crowded place, and like you've really taught me how to activate my shield and protect my energy. And I don't think a lot of people know about that, like the
Mm-hmm.
energetic clearing, like we shower we clean our face and brush our teeth, but like to really work with someone that can help us energetically clean our field is powerful.
Mm.
Besides like clearing yourself and doing that daily, like it's a daily hygiene, but like being able to work with someone like Matthew is really powerful. I've seen my clients just really explode in their um, just their true self. They just
Mm.
seem very more vibrant after they come and see you, and like even like when I'm working with them at a parasite level physically, uh, it's interesting to see them come back after a session with you and all of a sudden like I muscle test their parasitic load on a scale of 1 to 10,
Mm.
10 being the highest, right? And all of a sudden their parasitic load is down. So like some of these parasites that we are physically cleansing aren't actually physical. They're like
Yeah.
entities in our energetic field. And I know that might feel a little weird, but
That's absolutely true, though. You know,
mhm,
I mean that, yeah, just even to speak to that point that in addition to the energetic work that I have facilitated for some time, I also work through these cleanse process
mhm,
where I can guide people through a 7 day journey in identifying and clearing things out of our field, and then, again, activating our divine crystalline blueprint, to become our most authentic being. And what what I've learned throughout time in doing this is that a lot of the infiltrations within our body, in this case parasites, as you were talking about, these parasites will be physically present within the body, but then also there are energetic attachments. Energetic parasites are like what I generally would call hitchhikers.
mhm, mhm,
And what we find is that our bodies have this, really, to me, it's a miraculous ability to be able to transmute non-physical energy through the body into a physical manifestation to release this. And
mhm,
so a lot of times, when we're in relationship, maybe people are familiar with Eckhart Tolle's concept of the pain body. I typically would refer to this like as the trauma body, where we have the total collection of our past experiences, and in the case of like the pain body or trauma body, related to our wounding that we have, wounds, heartbreaks from the past, or betrayals from the past, or any of these types of experiences that most people, will experience through the course of their life and
mhm,
relationship. And when we carry these energies with us unconsciously, we often will magnetize towards us a partnership that is reflecting that same kind of energy. And so we enter into
mhm,
relationship, and they say, like, when the honeymoon is over, that's often like where the pain bodies begin expressing in a way that isn't just resonant connection, but you begin to actually express these unconscious patterns, and then things can come forward. And so when those, when these relationships end, we can go through a cleanse process to, cleanse our bodies, to return our bodies back into balance. But then addressing the energetic cleansing is extremely important, so that, we can identify maybe some of those patterns that were previously unconscious, clear those energies out of our field. And in the case of doing a physical cleanse process, it's like we can take this energy out of our field, or we can take the energy from wherever it's stuck inside the body, that is then translated into a physical manifestation of a parasite or something else then that is released out of the body.
mhm,
And when we do this, we bring ourselves back into a more harmonious, more fully resonant experience. And then that allows us then to express the most authentic expression then in that moment, and then we can magnetize towards ourselves more resonant relationships that aren't going to be unconsciously playing this energy back and forth.
that was deep. um So in my experience that you removed, like you saw a hitchhiker, and there's a lot of times when someone is in a lower vibration, addiction, using alcohol heavily, something like that. Like you open yourself up to these hitchhikers
Mhm.
that,
Absolutely.
that's why when these our loved ones are, they're not themselves when they're in addiction, like kind of can see it that there's like something feeding on them, and then it can feed on that person that is clear in the light.
Nah, absolutely. I just saw this the other day in a session with a client where the the distortion that was showing up in this person's life was not authentically theirs. It wasn't rising from within them. It was actually coming through from a hitchhiker, an attachment that their ex had in this person's field. And so, because of the way that our energy bodies connect with each other through what I call connective cords, where there's like an energetic connection, like throat chakra to throat chakra, heart chakra to heart chakra, on those cords, these energetic attachments, energetic parasites, not, etheric, non-physical attachments can run an infiltration along that cord. And so then the partner, you can be connected into that hitchhiker. And then these hitchhikers, they are manipulating our energy body in order to produce negative emotions.
Mhm.
Like when you see people that like their relationship is full of drama, maybe what that is there's actually stimulated energy that's going on
Mhm.
between the two of them that's not authentically their own being or even their direct experiences, but is instead, this attachment that is stimulating those energies, producing, the rise in energy, the rise in cortisol physically in our body. And then that hitchhiker is literally feeding off of that energy like a parasite.
Yes.
And so it's important to be able to identify these situations and to clear them as they come up. And it's extremely common.
Yeah. And it's interesting, like when I do a Reiki session, I can feel physical parasites as I'm clearing people too. So it's like that's like the whole thing of holistic health is like working, you can't just work on the physical. It's so the physical ailments are connected to emotions, the emotions are connected to like it's all one. So if we're only doing one area of it, we're kind of missing it and could be struggling to clear the physical ailment if we're not looking at the energetic too.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'm feeling really called, like my dear love practitioner friends, like, and light workers, people that are helping other people, like we are picking up attachments from that, and like we have to be really clear and make sure that we are not picking up other stuff too. Like that's another way to get cords and connections and
Mm.
different things. And yeah. I don't know.
Which I mean that leads into like what you had mentioned with the shielding,
Mhm.
and there are inherent abilities of the human being that over time have been shut down. And one of these things that has been shown to me in recent years is this reactivation of an aspect of our auric field, of our energy field, the cocoon of energy or the bubble of energy that we are, the luminous egg that we are inside of. And you can activate aspects of that field where there will be a protective or shielding quality that will, filter or block or shield you from potentially harmful energies, energy that would infiltrate you. Everything from like these hitchhikers that we're speaking about to frequency modulation, the frequencies from Wi-Fi or 5G or whatnot. And so that's one of these things that we would do, and going through and helping clear up your field and rebalancing your field would be to activate this ability, so that as you're moving forward in your life, then you can trust in the fact that there's more energetic integrity within your field, and you don't become susceptible to distortions that would drive you into illness or that would create mental and emotional situations, so that we can remain more stable.
Mhm. And I know that working with Matthew, doing the cleanse that he does too, like what I do kind of can lead up to what he does. And it's just like, all of it works together so beautifully. But I have felt very stronger in crowds, and like I know that
Mm.
my field is, I'm not as worried about going anywhere or picking anything up or any, and there's a lot of energy right now. But um I don't know how to describe exactly. I mean, you've been awake for a very long time and perfecting this, and like it goes a lot deeper than my Reiki and anything else. So I want to kind of touch on like what you do, how it's a little different than other, because there's a lot of people in this field.
Yeah.
Atlas is freaking
No, that's my dog is outside and she's letting something
out.
know not to be around. Um, So yeah, I mean the work that I have developed over the years, I have my own modality, which I have called gamma wave healing, which relates to being able to consciously enter into a gamma brainwave state, and in that state, that it's essentially a creation state. It's like crown chakra open, accessing information in very high levels. Um, Supplementing my sight. So I could say that I'm clairvoyant. I'm a seer. I have a strong ability within my third eye to perceive energy in a number of different ways. And that going into that gamma state or using that like as a pathway then to be able to perceive someone's energy field, their energy body, even things like past lives or being able to visualize these connections. Another thing that relates into closing down, clearing up energies around relationship would be like so-called soul contracts or even soul retrieval, being able to retrieve pieces of our energy field that maybe have been splintered off and stuck in different ways. And so, um, that the whole process is evolved organically for me over time through a series of experiences and activations from plant medicine activations to metaphysical kinds of experiences, Kundalini type activations to close encounter that I had with star beings in 2004, where I encountered a UFO, and all of these experiences have shaped these abilities or accentuated these abilities and over time working with people then have developed kind of a frame of reference for being able to perceive and then translate what is going on in someone's field. But then the beauty of that gamma state is that even if I'm encountering something that I've never experienced before with a client or never perceived before, the access is there to be able to perceive it in a way that I can translate. And when we're working with energy and you're in an energetic alignment or like in energetic integrity with your intentionality and where you are in relationship to the other person, there seems to be a universal law that allows you to be able to then work with that energy and mobilize that energy in different ways in order to be able to support the person. So it's been kind of an interesting, crazy, organic, development, and yeah, I'm grateful to have been of service for these years.
Yeah, you've done a lot. And you see a lot. And I mean, just the other day, we were in meditation in the morning, and I'll share like one experience with you. I mean, I was working on recalling some things of like what's going on with my throat chakra and why it's been so blocked for most a long time, a long time. And what I was unraveling, like I'm doing my own work and I can process things myself as well, but having I have the luxury of having Matthew next to me a lot. So like he was able to go in after I did my own clearing and be like, "Can you just help me a little bit?" And he could see like where did it go? Where did it stem from? It stemmed from my heart, even like when you were silent, I'm like, something's on my heart. And you were like, yeah. And you could see these like gray worms on my heart and then traced it down to my kidneys, which are not working that great. And as far as regenerative health and filtering go, and then traced it down to my second chakra that ended up having this concave thing, and you saw this seed that was planted at
Mm,
because I was working with my 7-year-old self that had a traumatic thing, and I don't even maybe it was mine, maybe it was a collective, but you and then you ended up seeing this whole vision of the central sun coming in and clearing like
mm,
that
yeah.
whole frequency of just some shit. I'll just leave it at that. Some gross shit, and cleared it for that whole Taos Valley and me. And like I had to say, I felt so much lighter after that,
Mhm.
after letting that out. And I mean, it's just beautiful. Like everyone needs someone. Like we are meant to unlock each other's gifts and help each other. And like just like how I work with my one of my friends, the health practitioner. Like we all need someone,
Oh,
and
absolutely. I have
it's
my people too
yeah,
that
like
I have to rely upon. You
mm-hmm,
know, we all need support these days for sure.
yeah,
It's intense right now.
it is intense. So I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about what Matthew does and how amazing he is, and how we'll be talking more in depth about this on Thursday. So if you want to come to our webinar, let us know and we can drop the link to sign up. And um, yeah, and Matthew has some specials going on for the rest of this week about his yearly readings. That's one more week
Mhm.
left, right, for your special.
Yeah, like I'd extended you know, the so I tend to do readings for myself
And they're
around
amazing.
every quarter, basically, you know, from the equinox to the solstice, from the solstice to the next equinox, as well as doing like an annual reading, you know, to lay out. And this is a reading with a tarot reading that I do, and lay out that spread, you know, for the entire coming year. And these readings, I do them a little bit different than maybe anybody's ever had before, in that I enter into
Mhm.
this gamma state and will channel the information. And this isn't like a channeling of like talking to another being or anything like that. This is like maybe higher self kind of information, or like universal higher perspective that will come through in reflection for you. And so you know, going into the new year, you know, moving, we just passed through on Groundhog Day is the Candlemas or Imbolc, which is the like a high holiday between the solstice and the equinox. And so, you know, we're in kind of an opportune time, and so I'd offered a special for these readings that usually go about 90 minutes, 60 to 90 minutes, which would normally be a $200 appointment, and that they're half price, they're $100 for an opportunity to get a good reflection. And the thing that's really cool about the channeled readings as well is because as since we're connecting into this higher frequency, it's not just information, there's actual energetic frequency that will translate through and will help recalibrate your energy body, so that as the information comes through, your energy body will get recalibrated so that
Mhm.
it'll assist you into manifesting your path, you know, your optimal timeline as you're moving forward. And so that's going to be extended through right after Valentine's Day, to the 15th is when that ends.
Cool. All right, we're gonna go get our dog.
Yeah, she really wants to come in.
Thank you all for watching
Yeah, thank
and
you.
sharing, and hope to see you Thursday. And if you can't make it live, we can send out the replay and all that. So, but we'd love your energy live because we want it to be a conversation, not just us talking to you. Last week was really awesome. We started with just the self love of oneself, and it was really powerful. I so enjoyed it. And this week we're talking about the relationship with others. So, and we'll continue on the rest of Thursdays in February. So, thank
Awesome,
you.
thank you.